A new Spec Ops sniper rifle is what we're talking about in today's video. The Cleaner, aka the Janitor, aka the cleaner of mist monsters while also being the janitor, is the newest sniper rifle to make its way into the game, and of course that's what we're going to be talking about. This weapon does some pretty high damage, so high in fact that it can do around 3.0 million in a single shot. 3 million on a flinger right there. So, I mean, with this build, with preemptive strike and stuff, and if you crit on a headshot, you know, with the low health and everything, yeah, you're going to hit around 3 million. Sometimes you won't hit flingers at all because your aim is bad. Like, really bad. Well, I guess that just makes it 3 million. But just because it does big damage, that doesn't mean it's a good sniper. So, really, is it a good sniper? Well, that's why you clicked on the video. I'm gonna try to make it pretty quick. I'm gonna try to hit all the bases that I can and give you guys as much information as possible whenever it comes to the sniper rifle. Before we get into the video, quick shout out to my man Peak for making that and sending that to me in the mail. I don't really have a public PO box because I don't want you guys sending me a bunch of stuff, but he really insisted on sending me something, and he sent me a freaking sign, and it looks awesome, and I'm going to use it in every single video now. Peak, I don't know why you did that, but you're actually a really nice person. Thank you so much. Let's jump into the video. Let's talk about the Cleaner, and let's just do the thing and do the stuff. Okay, guys, so as I said in the intro, we are going to be talking about the Cleaner, which is the new Spec Ops sniper rifle. If you want to get your hands on said sniper rifle, you can go on over to the event store, or, well, the weekly store. I don't know why they put an event weapon in the weekly store when we have an event store, and you won't miss out on it, but I digress. I say this every video. You can get it for 1680 gold. Now, once you pick this weapon up, you are left with two options. Option number one is a crit build. You can do double crit damage and crit rating if you want to. You can also sacrifice one of the crit ratings for a regular damage or a headshot damage. The reason I do not do this is because this weapon takes 3 seconds to reload and has one in the magazine. So if you want to try to make things a little bit more reliable for yourself, you can do double crit rating, but you don't have to. This also has the final perk that allows you to stand in place and, you know, get more damage over time, which is great because this weapon has unlimited range, aka no matter where you hit an enemy on the map, you will never have any damage drop off, and this weapon also pierces through multiple enemies, so if you just so happen to be on ground level, you can hit multiple enemies with one shot. The other option is how this weapon comes, which is double headshot damage, double damage, and, you know, whatever element, whatever. This really is going to depend on your playstyle, but I am going to be showcasing you guys a lot of different damage numbers on how both of these builds stack up to each other. Now, taking a look at these stats, these are the stats for the crit build. You have 108k damage, 270k headshot damage with a 56% crit hit chance and 570% crit hit damage. The fire rate doesn't matter because we only have one bullet in the mag. It has 25,000 range, which is unlimited for Save the World. 3.0 is the reload time, which means that that is the actual fire rate, and an impact of 6,000. Now, the damage build, or the headshot damage build, will have 155k damage with almost 700,000 headshot damage, with a crit hit chance of 15, crit hit damage of 150%, and a fire rate, again, it doesn't matter. Magazine size at 1, 25,000 range, everything else is exactly the same. Now, I'm going to be showcasing you guys some screenshots of what it looks like whenever you're doing headshot builds versus crit builds. This first picture right here is a crit build hitting a headshot but not critting, so it's getting around 307,000 damage on an elemental smasher. And the next one is a headshot build not critting on an elemental smasher, and it hits just under 600,000. So you are getting around half of the damage if you decide to headshot with a crit build and you don't crit on the target, and whenever you do a regular headshot build and you don't crit, you're gonna get around 600,000. So I also did this with the standing still perk as well, and you'll see that that 600,000, or that just under 600k, is gonna turn to around 739,000, which is pretty decent for standing still. The fact that, you know, you could just be defending a base and you're able to get this amount of damage by standing still naturally, I think that's pretty great. And lastly, I decided to show what it looks like with a crit headshot versus a headshot without a crit. So this is on, you know, non-elemental enemies, so we hit for around 1.24 million with a crit build headshot. Keep in mind, by the way, all of these are done in a solo 124, and then of course we hit around 791,000 whenever we headshot without a crit, because of course we're using a headshot build, so we're not going to be critting barely at all. So what is the takeaway from this? If you want consistent just under 800,000 damage for your headshots, go with a headshot build. Keep in mind, you're going to have to hit those headshots if you want to see those numbers, but if you're going with a headshot build, chances are, well, you're going for headshots to begin with. If you want to be able to hit big numbers without having to hit a headshot to begin with, then you want to go for the crit build. Now, what would I personally recommend? I always go with crit on my weapons, and all of you guys know that, and the reason for that is because crit is the best stat in the game for getting damage. It's also way more reliable than headshot damage overall whenever it comes to your normal combat. However, this right here is a sniper rifle, so with a sniper rifle you are going to be purposely all the time trying to go for headshots. This weapon also specifically being a miss monster weapon, so you don't want to use this on any other enemy unless it is a miss monster. That is just what this weapon's good for. I think the headshot build is a very, very viable way to go. The reason I do not go with the headshot build, however, is because of smashers. Smashers overall in this game have really tiny heads. They also have a tendency to rush at you and rush past you and having different angles at which they are coming from, and it can lead to a lot of complications with not only hitting the headshot, but seeing its head to begin with. The reason I personally would go with a crit build is because of smashers. If I have over a 50% chance to one-shot the smasher, I would rather that than having a 0% chance to even see and hit its head. Not to mention being able to see its head, but it could be rushing a certain way or moving, way more faster than normal, or having other husks around it and it's kind of harder to hit in the head. I think headshot builds are great, and you can honestly go with a headshot build if you want. Me personally though, crit builds are just way more reliable and way more consistent for me, and I play mouse and keyboard, and even I find troubles hitting a smasher's head sometimes in the heat of the moment or whenever it's rushing, or if it rushes past me and I can't even see its head to begin with. So headshot build or crit build, it comes down to you. If you want to be able to get more reliable damage regardless of the husk position, go with a crit. But if you're somebody that wants to get those headshots and that's the type of player you are, go with a headshot build. I personally recommend crit, but it's okay if you play a different way. Aside from that, all I really have to say about this weapon is that it's a miss monster only sniper rifle and it delivers on what it's supposed to do. However, I do find that the 3-second reload can be a little bit at times, as it definitely just kind of bogs down the weapon, and I would rather use something like the Instigator, which is a bow and arrow that does very similar damage overall and can do it a lot faster. Overall, the weapon on its own is pretty good, but compared to other weapons like the Ralphie's Revenge, the Old Betsy, the Instigator, and other stuff like that, it will get out damaged over the course of a fight, but the single target, the single bullet damage that it can do can come in clutch at times. But overall, I think the weapon is just, it's okay. Compared to other weapons though, it doesn't really need to exist. I think it's just a little bit underwhelming, and that mainly comes down to the reload speed really tanking the amount of potential damage this thing could do over the course of a firefight. But guys, that's pretty much it for me, and that's pretty much it for my opinions on this new weapon. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below about the cleaner. Me personally, I'm probably never going to be using it again. The Instigator is just too good, plus it can debuff high health targets to allow your entire team to focus them down, and I just think that there are plenty of other sniper rifles that can definitely do higher amounts of damage over time than the cleaner. But guys, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.